Hi, come in. Hi. Hey, how you doing?
Right, okay.
Long time.
Sorry, I just need to do an alarm test. I'm just letting you know that.
Are you doing it right now?
No, it's just a little buzz on, 5 seconds buzz on the alarm, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, that's it.
That's good.
Yeah?
That works.
Second 6.
Do you have a way in which you try and foster a culture of bravery and risk-taking within your team?
Do you think we do?
Yes.
So what do you think that is?
Well, for example, this project within itself,
Yeah.
it was, I say last Thursday, when the schedule for this week was finally solidified, and there was a lot of just trusting within that process, but it was
Right.
the fact that you were also trusting us to come up with that solution.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were trusting that it was like just the mutual trust, I guess, that you guys have spoken about earlier.
But that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the whole point, which is once you touch it, you have responsibility for it. So you put the best of what you are into doing that thing, and then everybody else should support you in that, including us. But that's where the joy for me is, which is, you know, even when we came in here, we had a conversation about the layout, didn't we? Because I had an opinion on that. But that's just me processing that. And I think that's what it's about, is being able to talk about those things openly and decide which way we're going to go with them. And I think if people feel trusted, they inherently go further. So it's not always coming in going, we're going to go do something crazy. It's just creating an environment where people go, well, it's okay to do that. I'll try that thing. And if I can try it, then something new exists in the world because you did that.
You know, that's also to be learnt as well. It's something to practice. It doesn't come naturally, you know, because you know, oftentimes you become a subject expert. You do one thing, and then suddenly you find yourself in a leadership position, and the change is very different. And so, from doing, you're delegating, and then you're helping others do. Then you might have to train them. You might have to, you know, help them in very small steps. The more senior they are, the less you'll have to do, and the more, so I guess you nudge essentially to help them get to the right place.
There's periods as you develop in your career where you take on more responsibility, whether it's managing people, you get more experience, you're in an agency. And there's a couple of things that come with that. One is you can't hold too tightly because it crushes people. And the second is you can't be disappointed with people if something didn't work out the way you expected. Now, of course, if someone makes a reoccurring mistake, then you have to correct that and you have to help them with that. But in most instances, you go through a period, I think, where you're really, really good at what you do. And with that, there's the danger of arrogance and just knowing that you're on top of your shit. So you've got to be really wary of that. And then you've got to make sure that you just let people go, you know, let them flow. And don't be disappointed, because I think, you know, when I look back, periods where we weren't as successful culturally was out of disappointment that something wasn't going the way we expected. But that really isn't the thing, because it would do eventually. And what we should do is analyse why it's not doing it rather than be disappointed. So I think it's on us, or it was on us, to get better at that part of the job, I think.
Yeah.
More honest than I should probably be, though. There you go.
It's the thing is, it's part of an agency journey. I don't think anyone's just like, I'm amazing at everything. You know, that you're going to make mistakes. And one of the hardest things is trying to work with other people in a way that feels empathetic, encouraging, but also, you know, if it's not going right, how do you get them back on track? You know, we're in a world where everything's good job, and then there's no counter to that. Like, how do you get from good to great? And that requires a certain amount of critique and thought and honesty. Drive and honesty. And that's hard to do while being empathetic and open and democratic. So you have to kind of really balance that, and that takes a lot of learning.
Creating the space.
Creating the space, yeah.
Yeah.
So you have like listening to
It's like a little master.
And we've worked together for 28 years. and it's a very, very long time, but we still do the same thing, which is if I share something, I want him to say likes it, and if he doesn't, I'm like, fuck. So okay, I'm gonna have to do that.
I'm not that harsh. No, it's funny. I think you need. We benefit from the strength of each other, in the company, but also in the team. Like I'm getting energy at this moment, and that's very exciting. And I think, one of the things that we try and cultivate in the studio is a sense of sharing that energy, and it starts to build something really great. And I know we were doing word association this morning, and it was, I don't know if it's unintended or not, but it did create an interesting energy and a bond. And I think if we can do that together, it does make better work, or at least you're aligned in the idea of doing that, and that's quite powerful.
I think it's easy to look at the criticism as a negative, but like you were saying, it is an opportunity, and you can't be too personal about your work, because I think sometimes the first idea you have, you'll think this is it, this is going to be the final thing, and then you'll show it to someone, and then they're like, oh, maybe not, or maybe change this, and then you can sort of, like you said, push you back. But really, it's an opportunity, it's exciting, because you can then build on it. It's only a starting point. And I always have this thing where I think, oh, I'm starting again, but you're not, you're just building on something.
Yeah. Well, if you don't make it and you don't share it, you don't have anything. Mm-hmm. And it's what Yusuf was saying, which is, I used to do the same thing. I used to hide my work. So I'd do it at night when no one was looking, because I was nervous about what people would say about it. So when I went to college, I'd go to college from about 9 till 4 in the morning and do loads of work that no one saw, because I was nervous about sharing it. Quite rightly, probably, in those days. But once I started sharing it, I suddenly realised that the creative process is completely different. It is actually about how, if someone's talking about the work and the echo chamber you're talking about, you're not rattling around in your own head then. You have a safety mechanism where other people kind of lift you up and make you feel better. And this environment is a good example of that, which is we're sharing ideas about being creative, but we all make differently, don't we? We all come from different backgrounds. But if we made something together, I think we make something really cool once we've got to know each other, and that's what it's really about. If you get to know how people think and they show their work, that's what it's doing. When you show work, you're saying, this is how I think. And then you go, oh, that's cool, that's interesting. Suddenly you build a relationship with that person, I think.
It's like a giant improv lesson, yes, and what, and more. You can't do that by yourself, you have to do it with other people. It's a giant collaborative thing. Yeah.
So you have to create the space where you're critiquing the work or talking about improving the entity. That's why it's easier. If we were actually talking about each other, it would be impossible. But if we're talking about improving the thing, then it's much more relaxed. I think it allows you to be more honest, because you can't do anything great unless you're honest with people. It just doesn't... It's not fair anyway, you can't learn otherwise.
It's not just us, it's everyone. I think the team blend makes a big difference as well. We tend to have a real range of personalities. I will say, actually, that our intern academy is a huge part of that, because it brings new insight, new energy, new fresh positivity to the team. And it's something that we're really proud of, because it's been very successful in that a lot of the interns have then become full-time DixonBaxi folks and have grown in their career. We had 3 just recently, and we hired all of them. And whenever I spend time with them, they just want to soak up ideas. They want to improve. They give off a lot of energy, because they're just so in need of, or they're ready to try things. And that's super powerful. It's sort of an inbuilt positivity of youth, I guess. And it's very endearing, but it's also heartening. And I think it actually tips the studio upside down almost, where, they're the people that are creating this newfound fresh optimism that really drives us. And I think that's an amazing thing to have.